Hello guys, my name is Sanket. In this video, we are going to talk about AgentScript, right? We all know Salesforce launched AgentForce a couple of years back when AI started booming around the world, right? Frontier models was launched and models were getting better and better every day. So in Salesforce, we used to build agent using AgentBuilder, right? So why we needed AgentScript, right? Using legacy agent builder. So the only problem with the old one was it was purely based on prompt instruction, right? It had topics, actions. It had a way to describe the description of your agent, role of your agent, right? It had variables, it had filters, but it didn't. What it didn't had is deterministic logic, right? Only thing which it was missing is deterministic logic. So the problem was the same utterance doesn't guarantee you that it is going to same result every time. So how we can add more and more deterministic logic element in our agent? That's where agent script is launched. It is also called next generation agent script, domain specific language, right? So we will talk about this throughout this series. I will teach you everything from scratch, how to define each and every block in agent script, how to write the deterministic logic, how to write the prompt instruction within those subagents, how you can add the connections, how you can extend it to knowledge retriever, how you can deploy it to channels like Wave, how you can deploy it to channels like SMS, emails, WhatsApp, right? There's a lot of place where you can deploy your agent. So I'm going to cover everything in detail as part of this series. So let's talk more about AgentScript. It was purposely built only for building agent in Salesforce. It's a compiled language. So we first compile through a compiler, and there is syntax and rules which you need to follow. If there is anything wrong, like how if there is anything wrong in Apex, you get an error message. In similar way, in AgentScript also it will be compiled, and then you will be able to see errors in runtime. Also, basically, it also feeds the reasoning engine. So the compiled metadata is what the agent reasoning engine actually runs on. So basically, whatever you are writing within your agent script will be first resolved, and then a prompt will be created, and it will be fed to your reasoning engine. So what got added, right? The core idea of AgentScript is not only to have the prompt instruction, but also it should have the logic instruction. So together, it makes your agent more deterministic in nature. So what each of these instruction does, logic instruction does enforces business rules, it runs actions, it sets the variables, it allows you to add conditional branching. Whereas prompt instruction gives you ability to add the instruction so that LLM interprets it. It decides how to respond and handle nuances and tone and any other kind of thing similar to this, and powers natural conversation. So together, it makes your agent more better than what we had in the past. So now two programming style, but one language. So you have declarative element and procedural element. That's what like we talked in the past, right? You are going to have some kind of logic as well as you're going to have plain English language instruction. So how the script is structured? It has various blocks, which we will talk in detail in upcoming videos. It has properties, it has blocks, and so when I say properties, like the whole script is, you will find it very similar to YAML or Python, but yeah, name like key value pair. So that's where I'm coming from, right? If you see in the example right side, so you have name and then colon order bot. So it's a key value pair. Then again, greeting, and then you're greeting it with some message. Whereas block, so block, you will have like system block, config block, variables block, subagent block, then connections block, knowledge block, right? So these are the different blocks which we will talk in detail. And one important thing to remember is our script is whitespace sensitive. So you have to always follow either like two space or one tab indentation. Do not mix of that. Otherwise, like very often when I write agent a script, it's very hard for me to find like why it is not compiling and it is not showing me that hey, something is wrong. It was very hard to detect that, but yeah, because of spaces, it can give you a lot of trouble. So be aware with that. What are the symbols within the agent script language, right? So this, right, the arrow, hyphen arrow is used for logic instruction. Then pipe sign is used for prompt or multi-line instructions. To refer anything, you will use at the rate, like at the rate action, at the rate subject, variables, at the rate outputs. Within the prompt, if you have to refer a variable, you will use curly braces, explanatory marks, and then at the rate, then variable name. Has is used to comment any line, right? If you want to add something comment within the script level, you can use hash. And then run is used to execute any action, right? Like apex, flow, prompt. So we will see all this in detail, but I'm just giving you high level view, what we are going to use in our script and what all this means on a high level. So we can access the resources in AgentScript. Let's say you want to execute any action, so you will say at the rate action dot action name. Then to access any subagent, to refer it, you will say at the rate subagent dot subagent name. Similarly, variable and outputs. You will also have like for an action, so you will say run this action with this variable as a parameter, and then once the output comes, set this variable with this output. So we will see all this, but I'm just giving you high level feel. How about flow control and expressions? Since like this is all part of what deterministic logic element, right? Whatever we talked previously, like accessing the resources and actions. Now if you want to do branching, so you can use if else. If you want to use comparison, like equal to, not equal to, greater than, less than. Similarly, you can use plus minus to do math operations, and empty checks you can do, like a variable is empty or not empty, right? Is none, is not none is being used. So what are the key takeaways? So it is purpose built and compiled language. Only its only job is to build, create good agents in Salesforce, which has deterministic feature as well as like plain English language. So sorry, plain English level instruction, right? So it's a mix of both, so that you are adding a more deterministic way. Once utterance is provided, what we are expecting is it is going to give us same kind of output most of the time. It's hybrid by design, and readable structure. So whatever we are writing, it's like a script similar to YAML or Python, right? So any human can read that. And previously, like the metadata was a little complicated, it was hard to deploy also, but now since it is single file we are dealing with, it's much easier. And it's very familiar and approachable because we all have worked with Apex, LWC, Python, YAML in the past, so it will be easy for us to work on. If let's say I have to just show you a sample script, it will be something like this, right? So I have a hello world script here, let it open. So basically this is the agent builder where you will write the agent. So you need to go to AgentForce Studio app. If you are new in Salesforce, you can go to AgentForce Studio app, and then at the right side, you have agents, test, prompt template, data, AI model. These all options we will look into in detail. But yeah, you can create a new agent from here, or you have an option to directly create from a script. So if you create a new agent, you will get an option here to start with a template, right? Salesforce provides some standard template just to start with, or you can just start with your own kind of script. So let's say in this video, I'm going to create a service agent based on the template. So I will say demo service agent, and you can choose new user, or if you have already an user created in your org, which is having agent licenses assigned, so you can choose that. It depends on your requirement. So you can click on let's go, and it will create the agent script. Whatever we talked, right? We talked about these are the blocks. Yeah, these are called blocks. So we have system block, config block, variables, language, knowledge, connections, right? Then these are the sub-agent blocks. We will talk about this in detail. So if you remember, we had this sign for prompt level, and then as I said, right, it's like key value pair everywhere. And for writing any kind of declarative logic, so you see here, right? So we are using this sign to write the reasoning instructions. Let me show you. So these are the actions we are calling, right? We are defining the actions, and then yeah, we are referring actions here. So we will see all this in detail, but yeah, I'm just giving you a feeler. And once how to test this, so you will click on preview. So here you can preview that. Like you need to test your agent, right, before deploying into the production. So here, this is where you will test your agent, whether it works fine or not. You will say something, let's say I'm saying hi, and it will show you the interaction summary. You can see the traces where you can see how your agent responded with this response. What actually drive your agent to respond with this response. So there is a reasoning engine behind, but even before the reasoning engine works, there is some steps, like there is a router, then there is a transition happened, then it listed down all the available actions, then reasoning happened. Like, so when reasoning happens, before that, some deterministic element gets resolved through the compiler, and a resolved prompt is created, and then it is sent to the reasoning engine. The hybrid reasoning engine then comes up with an output, and then output is evaluated and several parameters, and then the final output is grounded in the preview, right? You can also see all the variables you defined. You can, like, before testing, you can set a value here. So let's say, let me refresh it. So I'm starting a new session. So if I want to start this session with a specific email, let's say kumar@gmail.com. So you can set this, and then you can apply and restart the session. So we will talk about this also. Now if I say hi, so again, uh, there are some, you will see, right? Some other value got populated. So based like how since it is getting the whole script is getting executed, so based on the execution, the value will be set in the variable as per they defined. You can also use trace log, like what I've shown you is just on the UI, but it also gives us the JSON block where you can see the whole JSON trace, like which you can use it for debugging or optimization. I hope this is the first introductory video of the AgentScript series. I hope you liked it. We will talk more in detail about each and every block, and then we will talk about some examples, patterns, best practices, architectures in more detail in upcoming video. Keep tuned. Thank you for watching.